Hello, my peoples. What's up? Welcome back to the Dice Tower. Welcome back to our Summer Spectacular. Welcome back to Top 50/50 Games with Jason and Liz. I'm Jason from Self Stories. That's Liz from Sion Solitaire. And we are giving you a special series in our Semper Ludimus series. What does Semper Ludimus mean, Liz?
It means we always play, and we do. So now we are going for some more games that we play, even more than the games we played in the last video.
That is, you know what? That just naturally works out. The higher we go on this list, the more we always legit always play the games we're going to talk about. All right. So as I said, this is a special presentation from the Dice Tower. It is from the Kickstarter. Thank you so much for those of you who we were pretty deep in as a stretch goal, but you made it. I think we were in the 300,000 range, which is like, wow, that's people actually, pledged enough to be able to get to us. Although I think like after that, it was like the tattoo thing was the stretch goal after us. So like, we're not going to take any credit whatsoever. It's a tattoo for crying out loud. So
I am, however, going to say that our stretch goal, I do believe, is worth more than the Dan Hughes stretch goal. So
hi Dan, we're saying a lot of highs over here. Yes, so this is Top 50/50, but Liz and I are going through our individual Top 50 games. So we are going to do our 30 through 21 here, and we've already had some hijinks, we've had some laughs, we've had some disagreements, but we've also uncovered some gems, and we've committed to playing certain games together just based off our list. So we hope that you are following along and getting some good ideas for games that should hit your table as well. So we're gonna go ladies first, as usual, because I have manners, even though I really mess things up sometimes. Even though I insult Liz's war games, sometimes I have manners.
Chivalry is dead.
We are gonna go ladies first anyway. We are going to go with our XXX 30. I probably shouldn't say XXX on the Dice Tower.
I totally have back when I went to Rome, I took a picture of the gate number 30 at the Coliseum and posted on Instagram. That's not something where my season tickets are.
Number 30. Top 30 game for Liz.
This is the Dice Tower, a family-friendly network. So my number 30 is actually the very first game I reviewed for Dice Tower.
Nice.
I'm very fond of it. I still pull it out, and it is by our own solo gaming royalty, Ricky Royal. It is Renegade. I really like Renegade.
The game formerly known as Renegade. The game formerly known as Renegade. They have to change the name, so we'll figure that out.
Yeah, but it'll be known as something else later. For now, it's Renegade. But think like kind of like a light Mage Knight, a little bit of a pandemic-y feel with a lot of really cool kind of hand building and hand management. And I would say that's the game. It's very enjoyable. I've done a couple tutorials for it. I recommend that if you can find a copy in its old form or in its new incarnation, that you go for it.
Yeah. No, I dig Renegade. It's not on this list for me. It's a little bit wonky. Like the scenarios can be constructed wonky because there's a lot of modular pieces. And when you get a lot of modular pieces, you get scenarios that sometimes are amazing, and scenarios that sometimes are too easy and too hard. And although I think this game leans a little bit towards easy, at least with the ones that I play. I think the more advanced bots are a little bit too complex. It's a lot of text on those cards. But no, it's a really solid one. I really enjoy this one to this day. It's good. So my number 30, this is a game, the game for therapy for me. I'm thinking of doing another one, but I don't even know if it's in print anymore. But this is a fabulous one. It is RAPTOR. So have you ever heard of RAPTOR?
Yes, it's the scientists versus dinosaurs game. Yes! I like that game.
I caught Liz by surprise with that one. Yes, the scientists versus the baby dinosaur game, the baby the mama. So it is a asymmetric card game, 2-player only, and it is the board is the baby dinosaurs basically have home field, and they go run around the board as much as they want, the mom and the babies, and the scientists are coming in and they're trying to capture. They try to do something in terms of like experimenting, so they can either capture the babies or put the mama to sleep. And the mama is basically either trying to murder all the scientists, which I think is a fun thing to do, or arrange so that the babies can escape. So there's different ways to win. It's card driven. There's simultaneous play, and then you reveal, and then depending on what you reveal, one side will do one thing, one side will do another thing, and they just kind of keep on simultaneously revealing. your card.
Yeah.
So very, very kind of like get in your opponent's head in terms of anticipating what they're going to do. You think they have one thing, or you've puzzled out what they're going to do, what their tendencies are, and then I'm going to do this to kind of like, frustrate that or whatever. I play this game in therapy. 2 players, fast, evocative, simple card play. It's not like I'm not trying to accomplish any particular therapy goal. It's just good. It's just a good, solid, relaxing time. So no, Raptor. I played it last week actually in therapy. It was really great.
Aw, I like that game. That's a good one.
Super good.
Excellent.
I know I have taste.
Sometimes. All right. All right, so my number 29. So this is a game I cannot play solo, sadly, but I really love it. Every single time it comes up, I have a blast. I really actually should buy it because it's cheap. There's no reason for me not to have it. And that is The Crew. So I love trick-taking games. We talked about this in a previous video, but The Crew is so cool because it's like
The
trick-taking.
Crew Quest for Planet 9.
Where you're working together to try to make sure that people take the right tricks. And that is just such a cool concept to me. Like, I just cannot get over how much I like it. And like, there's all these different challenges and, every group is a little bit different. So when you play with different people, it's, you have to figure out how to read each other all over again. And then if somebody is really bad at trick taking games, everyone yells at them. But that's funny too, frankly. Right. But I really, really like the game. What a smart concept. Sure. I think that's going to be one of those games that was hot a couple years ago, but people are still going to be playing it in a long time because it's so cheap, it's so good, and it's just that game that can like fit so many different needs on a game night.
Absolutely. It's in my 50s. This one is a very, very seal of excellence, 8.5. I love The Crew. It's great. Cooperative trick taking. Come on, multi, right. Like the higher player count, easy to get to the game. Play 5 minutes, 10 minutes game. You turn through a bunch of games at once. Has that ongoing campaign, so like you kind of have a sense of building. It's not like thematic at all, but like you have a sense of like full momentum. You kind of want to see the rest of the content and the different rules they introduce. So no, the Crew is fabulous. Well done. It's so I approve of that choice, Liz. As long as you pick a cooperative game, I'll approve it. This game is also solo proof. You cannot play this game solo. It's my highest party game. It is Concept.
Okay.
Concept. I'm a very visual person. I'm always using visual element. I'm a terrible artist. Like not good at all. I cannot produce the images that I have in my head, but I'm very kind of imaginative and visual based. So like Charades is a cool game, but in terms of like that wordplay, I'm not as kind of with it. This is Charades with art. So you have a whole board full of art pieces, and you get a word, and you're trying to get your players to guess the word based on what you show. So it's like if I have Shrek, I'm gonna put green, big, movie. Yeah, and they're gonna guess the Hulk, and they're gonna guess all the stupid stuff, and I'm gonna desperately try to get them to guess Shrek, that kind of thing. And it's an oldie but goodie. It's been out for a while. There's a giant mat where you can like play almost like with Twister style. But no, Concept is a fabulous game. I'll play it anytime in terms of party game. I do not have. I think this is my last party game. My first and my last. So I'm not a huge party game person, but if I'm gonna play one, that's gonna be it.
That makes sense. That's nice.
Liz is unimpressed. Like, where's the war games, Jason?
No. I'm just thinking about like I haven't played Concept very much, but I do like it. I'm just like ruminating over my previous experiences.
Oh, you've been scarred.
No. All right, so my 28. So this is I told you I like mystery games. This is what I think is currently the best incarnation of a detective game out there. And for me, that is Detective City of Angels.
Aha. Yes.
From Van
I knew this was going to be here. Yeah.
I absolutely love this game. It's so good. You can play it solo. You can play with other people, but when you play as a group, so what I like to do is I like to play solo, and then I like to play as what's called the chisel, where I control the answers that suspects give. So it's just this really neat game because you're going around a map, you're looking for clues, you have cards and different things that lead you to those clues if you're paying attention, and you can interrogate suspects if you find them. So you know, you can say, I want it's got like a system for this where it's like, I want to ask this person about this object card that I'm aware of, or this person. And so you then the chisel gets to choose the answer they give, and some of those answers are complete lies. It's like, oh, self-censoring. Oh, let's censor that again. But so you can absolutely try to trick people, but they can call you on it. So you have to figure out how to be convincing. Like, am I going to give a half truth? Am I just going to completely feed this person a line? Or am I going to tell the truth and like help them advance to solving this mystery? And you know, it's just such a great system. The puzzles all work well together. Some of them are really hard. Like, I have the expansion that I haven't played yet, but you know, I've played the entire base box, and there's some really challenging mysteries and cases in there. And you know, they start out real easy, you're like, I can do this, and later you're like, what just happened? It's so cool. And you know, the way when you figure it out at the end, like the way it all comes together so masterfully is just great. So I really like this game. Good flavor.
I have not played it. So you bring it on down. Bring it on down. I know you've been talking about this. Although there's one game that's coming up that I know will take priority, but this one's on high on the list of games. All right. So that was number 28 for Liz. My number 28 is actually sitting right behind my shoulder right here. It is Days of Ire, Budapest, 1956. Liz and I, we do history chat sometimes. Not recently because, well, pandemics are hard. But whenever we get a game that we both played and has a deep historical context, we will get together and do an episode on it. So if you want, go ahead and check out both of our channels, Beyond Solitaire and Shell Stories. We have that episode where we talk about the history behind Days of Ire and its follow-up Nights of Fire. I'm choosing Days of Ire because it is the cooperative game in that pandemic style. And mechanically, the innovation is you're doing the basic pandemic things, kind of running around different spots and doing stuff. There is a card system in Days of Ire where you can use the card for resources, or you can use the card for extra move. So there's a lot of like flexibility in the action economy that I really appreciate. Kind of like, you know, having events in pandemic, but like you just more of that kind of, you know, out of regular action economy movement, which helps me feel really powerful, get a lot of things done. Because you have to, because you're going up against tanks and, you know, like squadrons of snipers and all that kind of thing that are kind of, you know, like collapsing towards you. It's a very kind of crowded board, only 12 spaces. The historical integration is excellent here. It is not a scenario that I'm familiar with at all. I'm not, you know, I'm not from Budapest, and I don't know a lot of people from Hungary and anything like that. But having that entryway and it inspired a lot of curiosity for me to follow up and learn more about the area. So I feel like I know a lot more history in terms of the place. I really, really love Days of Ire. It's another one of those games. I kind of cycle it in with my pandemic historical games where it's like, these are games I just want to play over and over again for the rest of my life. So Days of Ire, Budapest 1956. David Tercey is probably also watching this show because he likes the two of us too. So hi, David. a lot of shout outs. A lot of shout outs on top of 50-50. So yeah, I mean, I know you're not as much of a pandemic person, so you didn't take this one as much, but we had a good time with the episode. I remember having a good time talking about the history stuff.
And I still really, you know, I really appreciate it. It's not going to be a forever game that is for me to like just play again and again. I'm so glad I did spend time with it, and I learned a lot from it. So, you know, just because it's not on a list doesn't mean it's not worth the time.
Oh yeah, no. And I would throw my computer through if you said that this was not worth the time, I'd throw my computer. You consigned me to hell last time, so.
But it would be my heaven. It'd be all right.
All right, so we're up to number XXVII.
Yes, also known as 27. So my 27 is unusual.
There's a game called Unusual. I'm like, what?
No. It's the only solo RPG on this list. It's a book. It's not a game. Well, it is a game, but it comes in the form of a book, and that is 1,000-Year-Old Vampire. It's by Tim Hutchins.
Wow. Okay.
I love 1,000-Year-Old Vampire. Okay. It's so good. Like, you make up this vampire. So like my very first one that I really got into was like, she was a woman who owned a gladiator school, and she hid her vampirism by eating injured gladiators and just saying they died. And like, then she, you know, but you start your vampire somewhere in history, and you have to do that research. So for me, that's cool, because it's like, oh, let me create somebody in this time period and give them this ability, and like it makes you go learn and like look at different names from that time, and you just learn so much doing it. And then you have to respond to this series of prompts And it's really a game that's brutal because it's about loss. Like you lose your memories, you lose your abilities, and eventually, inevitably, your vampire will be destroyed. I prefer to destroy mine in horrible ways because you just have to have drama. But but it's just such a creative game. It's so thought out and it just evokes so much. You have to put a lot of yourself into it to get that experience back. It's not a game that feeds you a lot of just stuff to make it easy for you, but when you are willing to commit, what you get back is just really great.
Right.
It feels kind of like getting help writing a novel or something, almost like I keep long journals about it. I just really like the game.
I consider solo RPG-esque games as like almost like creative writing projects. Is
Yeah.
that a fair kind of way to think about it?
Yes, and if you're ranking those, this is the very best one. Like it's very good.
And there's a ton of them. You'd be surprised how many of these out there. Our friend Travis Hill. Hi, Travis, if you're watching.
Like, I just can't imagine something topping this. It's just so good. I love it. Wild about it.
All right. Not as much of a person for me. As much as I love stories, I just feel like storytelling is always more of a shared experience for me. Yeah, that kind of thing. I kind of have a hard time with the self telling stories, but it's good. No, I approve. No, that's really awesome. All right. So my number 27 is Commissioned. So Commissioned, I'm actually filling in for Sam Healy, who used to be in the Dice Tower a couple years ago, and I will fill in the love for Commissioned here, and I will be reviewing The Call when it comes in. The Call is the expansion for the Commissioned. It is cooperative game for 1 to 6 players. It is recreating the early years of the church. According to, like a New Testament reading. So like, starts with the Pentecost event, which is Jesus in Jerusalem beginning to convert people. And then you kind of reverse pandemic style. You're spreading cubes out on the board as opposed to taking them off. You're spreading them out and you have to spread, the cubes across the land. So reverse pandemic style. I think the gameplay is good. It's tense until the very end. So a lot of times you get games that are like you kind of like reach the solution in the middle. And then it kind of, peters out. This game is tuned so that it's always exciting because you have to get every single city, every single one, it covered with at least one follower cube. And I mean, I'm a Christian person, and I love being in that world, that imaginative space. I think it treats the issue respectfully. Yes, I know that there are missing in terms of interpretive elements. There's some things that the game says and does not say. So as as a New Testament scholar, Liz is very attuned to that stuff. But I think in terms of what it does say, I think it's very respectful. It handles the topic pretty well, and it's just a fun game. So it does everything. Hold up, where it is? I've been showing the games. There it is.
There it is.
It's right there. It's right there.
So I will definitely give you that it's a fun game and that it is respectful. Yeah, as a historian of this time period, I'm teaching New Testament right now. There are things about the game that drive me crazy. I do not feel comfortable with a lot of. It's
just a game, Liz. It's just a. I'm kidding.
Nothing is ever just a game. That's the thing. Like I don't feel comfortable with some of the game's premises and some of the assumptions that it makes about like what text existed when and what text get to count, and it's very
right.
Just like as a church historian, it bothers me, but nobody's getting hurt. It's fine. So
it's more of a, we call it catechesis in Christian. It's like you're teaching the central core of the faith. It's a good education tool in terms of teaching the basics of Christian, like that or like that Orthodox Christian intra Bible perspective. That is not the only perspective.
It's also an anachronistic perspective. That's the issue that I have. But
it's a good game, people. It's a good game.
No, it is, and like I think it's worth playing. Just take some things with a grain of salt. That's what I'd say. Okay. Yeah, I think it's
so. That was number 27, Commissioned, which I love, and I'm going to be reviewing that expansion, like I said, on the Dice Tower when it comes in. Which would have been here because of the stupid pandemic and stupid shipping containers and everything still being bottlenecked up. And we're going to get this when that bottleneck releases. We are going to get this torrent of stuff. My God. So get ready, Liz.
Oh yeah, it's going to be wild.
Number 26.
All right, so my number 26 is it's a game that I didn't know how much I liked it until I just found myself continuing to play it. It's a nice little worker placement game called Meki. I really like Meki.
Yes.
It's a really fun game because you're basically
really high. Wow.
It is, but I like it. I play a lot. Like that's the thing. I mean, I don't really care what number it has. The fact is that I play a lot. And I love that it's a quick worker placement game because sometimes I just don't have the time. And I play a lot of games that are really chunky. So sometimes I just need a breather. And so my key fills that spot for me a lot. It's got different objectives. I really enjoy I'm at the point where I've, after my first play, like when I bring it back off the shelf, I pretty much know the patrol cards that could come up. So, I enjoy kind of like plotting and like trying to make sure that my guys don't get caught on my way to like my little mission. So it's like a worker placement game where you're trying not to get caught by you are in resistance France. You are
like
resisting
the
the
1930s,
Nazis.
World War One, World War II France.
World War II. It's World War II. Yeah. So basically, you are trying to avoid the Nazi sympathetic police who eventually get replaced by soldiers because you will have to shoot some to get home. And you're trying to like go out and do stuff and get back to your safe house. And there's something about it, like I like the sneaky feeling that I get when I play the game because I like stealth. So I like feeling sneaky. I like solving puzzles. I like choosing what upgrades to get, and it's just so much small package. I'm really just pleased with it. It's an enduring solo choice for me.
I think the event deck can really bone you because of the way it works. Like it's worker placement, but there's paths, right?
Yes.
And the paths have bottlenecks. So like if you get the wrong card the wrong time in the wrong bottleneck, and it just sinks your whole game. It's like,
that actually happened to me. So I did a Kickstarter preview for this back when I still did more of those, and I was doing amazing. I was gonna win. Then I pulled the one patrol card
wrong card
just killed me. So if you want to watch me lose at all in just one flip of a card,
snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Way to go, Liz.
But you know what? For me, that's part of the excitement. I like it. It's fun to kind of play with fire that way.
No, I like the historical integration, McKee. That's one we could talk about in terms of like the historical integration. That's another one on the list for actually history chat. All right, so my number 26 is my Civ game. Liz mentioned Nations earlier. I approve of that choice. This one is my preferred Civ game, which is Through the Ages, a new story of civilization. Has the from Vlada Chvato and Czech Games Edition. It is of cards all over the place, like cards. And you are doing all the same things, like you're building up your military, you're building up your productive capacity, you're building wonders. You have leaders, and leaders give you powers, and like it's a very complex card game. I think the biggest criticism that people have of it is that it's long, and multiplayer, like 3-4 players, there's nothing to do outside your turn, so you're gonna be there a while. So you have to go in there knowing that. And also like the end game feels a lot like the beginning of the game. So like, and the numbers just grow, but it's not like everything kind of really arcs up. It's just kind of a different level of the same management that you did in like ancient, your ancient times. But I like the thing that I'm doing. So like, I don't mind doing the same thing as long as I like it. And it's evocative, and I can see there is a sense of growth. There is a sense of like, the agora, the education place becomes the university, becomes the space tower or whatever it is. You can see that development. You can see the printing press become the multimedia and the internet, that kind of thing. It has that in the game, and I think there's an expansion for it that just came out that I have not played. But it's I've been playing Through the Ages a lot. It's the best app I've ever played, like by a lot. They put so much good stuff in the app at launch, and I still play it. So, Through the Ages is a fantastic game.
So this is actually a game that I've been dying to play, and I just really need to sit and play it with someone.
Because that is not a game I'm going to show you.
I have a hard time. So I have a hard time learning from apps. There's something about apps. I really struggle to learn games from them. And so I downloaded the app. I tried it, and I was just like, because, I need a teacher a lot of times, or at least a rule book.
I don't think I have a single board game app where I play the app first.
Yeah.
If I play a board game app, I have to have it in my head already from the physical copy. Like I go to my line about this is like, if the board game on the table is quality, and then the board game in the app is quantity. So like if I'm getting the quality and I've learned it, I've soaked it in, I've enjoyed it, I'm gonna go to the app if I can't get it back to the table, and that satisfies me in a different way. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Like if it's just like my app is the first exposure, there's no way.
Yeah, so I need to find somebody to play that with, because I have a feeling it would really be up my alley.
You'd love it. Yeah, you would love it.
Yeah, I just haven't had the opportunity.
I don't own it, so I can't commit to it. Plus, it's long, and we have a lot to play. That was my number 26, Through the Ages, The New Story of Civilization.
Nice.
All right, we are halfway there. Woo. We're halfway there. 25. You can't sing on Zoom. Zoom is real tough. There's too much asynchronous stuff going on. But anyway, halfway there, 25.
All right. So I'm just going to preface this with, you know what is interesting is that I have higher rated games lower on the list, but I've realized, like, by doing this list, that what I give something as a review score doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to have a correlating spot in my top 50. Like, for example, Azul's not on here, but I think that Azul deserves a very high rating.
Sure.
It's very interesting. It's like learning about ourselves today. Yeah. But my current 25,
have a few of those games, yeah.
My current 25, just because I've been playing it a lot recently, I've just been into the AI system. It's a war game. It's a very pew pew kind of game. You get some tanks, you fight it out. It's Conflict of Heroes, Awakening the Bear. I really love the AI for that game. I think the cards are really fun. You know, they released a bunch of free scenarios at like Christmas a couple years ago or something like that, and I printed those off. You know, it's just a really fun game. I really like it. The AI is clever and it's still surprising and it's smart. There's some little, you know, issues of like different things and like whether it's not the way that I like them to, like when they're printing the game. So it's not perfect, but that just doesn't matter when you're having a stupid tank war in your living room.
You're gonna play a war game.
It's great.
You're gonna play, like, if you're gonna play a war game, you don't want to play a coin. You know, you don't want that like multiple rule books and like the whole thing. I think Conflict of Heroes is a good step in the right direction in terms of access.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's true. It's a good intro one. The rule book looks scary, but it's actually pretty simple. There's a lot of explanations in it, and you know, it's I would say that it's fairly accessible as like going into a real war game is gonna go.
Right. Okay. All right. So this is funny because like 25 is where you will absolutely see Liz's taste and my taste. All right. So Liz's taste, you know, war game, you know, you got the you know, and everything that's involved in all that. Me, I'm a thematic storytelling cooperative game type player. And this one gives me a lot of that. So this is Near and Far from Ryan Lockett. So, you know, basic Near and Far is okay. It's a worker placement game. You've played a million worker placement games. If you're watching this video, you made it this far. You probably played a bunch. There's nothing inherently fabulous about the way it executes worker placement. It's simple. And that's probably good because it is a simple engine for a story that is happening. So you're reading, because there's two boards. One is just like the town and you're building your resources. And then you travel in the land. And as you travel in the land, you consult the storybook for different areas. You can follow quest paths. You can, you know, just have like one-off stories. The stories give you stuff. So like they'll be generate resources that you can carry it on to the next thing. I just think it's so charming. It's so like Near and Far just does so much. Like I didn't love Above and Below because I felt like the story and the mechanisms were too separate there. Here they're a lot more integrated. You know, a little bit of story, go back to the town, do your worker placement thing. A little bit of here, a little bit of there, back and forth, and it just, the pacing was so good in terms of you know, integrating and realizing it, you know, Ryan Lockett's world, which is a very evocative world, very evocative art, writing. I think his wife does the writing. Oh, there it is. It's over there. Right there. Near and Far is fabulous. I'm looking forward to Now or Never, which is the third in the series of these kind of like, you know, regular size box, you know, storytelling games from Ryan Lockett. I think it's fabulous. And the Amber Mines expansion added co-op. It did not add co-op to the campaign. It just gave you a co-op scenario. So I was a little bit disappointed in that, but it's still a really neat way to play. So Near and Far, fabulous. Near and Far was one of those games. So like I think it was like 2018. I was doing my podcast, hitting like a real kind of burnout phase. And it happens, right? There's too much to review. You review too many mediocre games like in a row. And it's like, I can't do this anymore. And then Near and Far got to the table and it just lit me up again. So I will always have a soft spot for Near and Far.
Yeah, I'll keep it near to you and far from me. That'll be fine. I can really live without it.
You go ahead and you awaken your bear. That thing is sleeping when it comes to me. You play with your awake bear. You can have fun with that thing. Now, there we go. Now Liz and I are with tooth and nail now. All right, so
But
number 24.
All right, so my number 24. I have been appreciating extra recently. You'll understand why shortly, but you like this game too. I just don't think you like it as much as I do. And it is V Commandos. Really like V Commandos. It's fun. It's got all these really great scenarios now. I've been developing further appreciation for the system, I think, as I'm playing Assassin's Creed. So Assassin's Creed, I think, and I'll review it when I think that the games are closer to showing up, because I just don't want to make people unhappy that they are looking at a review that will be positive for something that they can't have. But there are improvements that Assassin's Creed makes to the stealth system, in my opinion. But V Commandos is always going to need to be around for me if I like that system, because it's pick up and play, pick a scenario, go. And I just really enjoy it. I like all the different powers and special abilities that your people have. I like trying to sneak through things. And, it's a World War II game where you were basically completing stealth infiltration missions. And I really like it. I'm actually contemplating whether you could even combine aspects of the changes to the system that are in Assassin's Creed with V Commandos if it would work, to make it just that much better. But it's just, I really like the game. I always like it. It's cooperative. It's good that way. It's solo. It's good that way. And, I play it enough that I must really like this game, because
I like V Commandos, don't love it. I love stealth. I feel like the stealth in V Commandos was a little lucky.
Yeah,
it is. It's basically a die roll. And if I play stealth, I like die rolls. There's nothing wrong with that. But in terms of an actual stealth game, like a video game, Deus Ex, Splinter Cell, Batman, Arkham Asylum, the whole point of that stealth is to map out where the people are going. Metal Gear, yes. Waiting, whatever happened to Emerson Matsuchi's Metal Gear. I don't know what happening, but please.
Dishonored is my big one. I really love to play Dishonored.
There's so many. But the whole point of you have a whole room full of people and you have to puzzle out the paths. And once you figure that puzzle out, you kind of knock them out one by one, pull them in the flower pot or whatever silly thing. And V Commandos almost wants to do all that, but
it then can't.
It can't, because it's trying to also be a streamlined, simple thing. And it just, so if I'm doing all the smart things, watching the pathing, watching how the AI of V Commandos kind of animates everything, and I do the thing, but then I roll a 6, or whatever, whatever the bad roll is. I don't know. It's so close now.
Yeah, but I also think that just going out in a blaze of glory is entertaining. So it works for me.
In V Commandos, you usually break stealth by the end, and you're like, guns
it's just expected. You're going to start out as well as you can, and then you are gonna mess up and have to run.
The game is tuned so that at the end of it, you're gonna be going out in a guns blow. But but getting there, when you hit that, the discovery mode is up to the die, not necessarily up to the player, which is a little bit bothersome to me. But no, it's good. It's good. All right, so my number 24, I think this would probably be as close to a solo RPG or RPG-esque storytelling thing as I have. It is Untold, Adventures Await.
I was wondering when this is going to show up. I knew it would be somewhere.
Yeah, it's right here. Again, we're still in the 9 out of 10 territory for me. I love this game. It is Rory Story Cubes, but animated by a board. And, so Rory Story Cubes, you just roll and you can tell stories. Here, they give you structure. So it is a 5-act structure. So like a sitcom, or not a sitcom, like an hour-long, like a CBS drama, right? Or like ER back in the day, or Chicago ED or a PD, whatever. So then you have your your beginning scenario, your cold open, and then you have so that you program your dice and you tell a story off of that. And then you could do, the different beats, like, so, a character discovery, and then the plot thickens, and, the betrayal, and then the climax. So you're programming dice for each of them, and you're going to emerge with a cohesive story. And the way that the story is built, it takes an hour. Perfect for my therapy session. So, I mean, if I'm going to do story cubes, I can, if I want to just roll them. But, if I want to create that next level of immersion and memorability, Untold does a beautiful job of that. So that is a game for a healthy mind for me. And I've not done a review, official review, but that'll maybe we'll see. A lot of that list is long. But no, this game is completely fabulous in terms of storytelling. One of the best that I've ever seen.
Nice. All right, so my number 23 is, it's a small, simple game. Picked it up at Dice Tower 2018, and I still love it. Love it so much. I laminated the little sheets because it's a roll and write. Well, it's a flip and fill, I guess. It's Metro X.
Okay.
I am obsessed with Metro X. It is just always fun. It's a game where you flip cards and you try to fill in a Japanese subway map. And I don't know why I like it so much, but I just do. I teach it to everybody who'll play with me. I find it just so entertaining.
Comfort food game. It's comfort
food.
It's like you play it, you just like you're done.
Yeah, you can play it on a plane, you can play it at a restaurant, play it at a cafe table. It's small, fits in your bag. It's got expansion if you want a couple extra maps, and it's hard. It's so much harder than you think it's going to be, which I think is part of why it seems so simple. And then you're like, oh man, I messed that up. And you can play it so many times and still mess up. I really like it.
I have not played it, but I've seen it and I'm interested. So this one's short enough where it's like, okay, next time we get together, we'll play.
Oh yeah, I have the so there's a Japanese version, which is what I have, but they've localized it for the United States, so it's easier to get now and probably cheaper. So Metro X.
All right, very cool. So that was our number 24's XXIV.
That was 23, wasn't it?
Oh, sorry. Oh, that was your 23. That was your 23.
My 23. Whenever you're yours 23.
My 23. XXIII is one of my favorite games ever. King of Tokyo. King of Tokyo. I love King of Tokyo. I love King of Tokyo. They did a biography of a board game on King of Tokyo on Ludology. So go ahead and do the Ludology. Scott, hey, how you doing? And so I was very excited to hear about the development of King of Tokyo. Everybody, most people know King of Tokyo. Kaiju monsters battling with standees over the domination of Tokyo with a Yahtzee mechanic. So like you have Yahtzee, 6 dice, you're rolling them, and you can roll them again a couple times. You get attack, you get powers, you get points, you get energy for different things. You get healing, which in the expansion, healing in the base game is kind of boring, but then the healing in the expansion unlocks other powers. The power-up expansions. So, I mean, there's just so much. And they released like little monster packs for it. They have 4 at this point. I can't get enough of them. I have them all, the little monster packs. It's in terms of if I'm on, I think it would be my second most played game in therapy after Uno. So if they can handle a little bit more, I feel, then King of Tokyo is the next one. And my 5-year-old daughter plays it. And she loves it. We're probably going to play it later today. So King of Tokyo is completely and utterly fabulous.
I would like to congratulate you because long ago you made a video about why you play solo, and it was a video of your daughter, and you asked her to roll die, and she just started crying.
I don't want to roll a die. I don't want it.
Progress.
Now she's like she has it in her hand. They all fit in her hand, and she does the whole thing. Oh man, beautiful.
Yes, she's your child after all.
Yeah, she's getting there. We're getting to a different level of gaming with her. So very cool.
Yes.
That's awesome. Number 23, King of Tokyo.
Fantastic. All right, my number 22, you like it also. I don't know if it made your list, but you like it too. It is Obsession from Kainta Games. You know what? I just love it. I do.
There it is. There it is. It's right there in the Takanoko. There forever.
It's just such a good game, and I love it because of what it evokes. It is mechanically just a little bit different from any other game that I have. It's its own thing, It's basically, it's hand management and it's kind of worker placement, but you're matching up guests who are coming to your estate with the servants that they need to actually do the things that you want them to do. But if you like things like Downton Abbey, if you like things like, if you like to watch period pieces on the BBC and like read somewhere between like Victorian and Regency or whatever literature up into, North and South era, you will like Obsession. I like it because I thought that Colin Firth was the sexiest thing to exist when I was in middle school. And, I read all the books.
The Duke from, what's his face? Bridgerton. That's the sexiest man alive.
Now, yeah, like times have changed and they have changed for the better because yes, but
it is very humbling to know that if the Duke were to ask my wife out on a date, she would just leave me in a heartbeat and go out on a date with the Duke. This is very, very distressing for me to realize.
I mean, but if he asked you on a date, you'd probably go tell me. Like,
I'd have a hard time. I'd think twice. But I mean, the fact that it evokes, the Bridgerton or Downton Abbey or
yeah,
these other shows, this game does evoke that, and it
yeah,
wraps it in a good mechanical game. Like you have to manage your resources well. There's 3 resource streams, the servants, the cards, and the tiles, and if you don't make them come together, you're gonna lose.
yeah. But what I love the most about it is just what happens in my head when I'm playing the game. Because like I
Sure.
definitely like channel my inner Maggie Smith, and like if I have
you grab the tile with your pinky.
yeah, why not? And like, I have, if I play it with friends, it's like we all use stupid accents the entire time. Like, ooh, I'm going to go bowling today. The green.
American errands.
And like, is it stupid? Yes. Do I love it? Also, yes.
Fantastic.
And like games that can do that, there's always something special about a game that can bring that out of you and the people you're playing with. So if you hate that kind of stuff, Obsession will not be for you. But if you like it, Obsession will be a blast.
In the 50s for me. In the 50s, but
Yeah.
high, 8.5 for me. All right. Okay, so my number 22. Quirky Circuits! Ah! I love it. I love Quirky Circuits.
Man, I haven't even played that. We gotta just add this to.
Ah! Ah! Quirky Circuits! Ah! I love this. I love this game. I love it. I love it. Why is it only 22? Because I love other games even more. But like this one tickles me. If I had to rank it like a top 10 tickles me game, this is my number 1. It is so cute. Okay, cooperative, boom, done. Limited information, so it's not just like a shared puzzle, so it's like an actual, like, you have to cooperate and
Right.
like get into your partner's head. Boom, done. Excellent. In the mind type way, so it's like I have my hand of cards, everybody has their hand of cards, and we have to kind of figure out what we're playing, like what the other person has without talking. Boom, I love that. But it's programming, so like you're not just kind of playing the card face down, you have to program these little bots over here. So this is like the cat Roomba and the doggy and the sous chef robot or whatever it is. And you're going through and you have different scenarios. So like you do the bot, I mean the dog scenarios, and then the sous chef scenarios, and they're all like everything's different and integrated. And I played this with a friend, and we went through the entire campaign. That almost never happens. Where it's like, we have all this other stuff to play, but we want to finish Quirky Circuits. Quirky Circuits! Ah! I think I broke some of the pieces, though. I probably should be more careful. Just like, my Bumblebee, the Bumblebee, it came broken. So I ordered a replacement, and the replacement broke. Ah! It's terrible. But it's a fabulous game. Oh my God. Quirky Circuits. But so, hose me down, people. Nikki Valens. Hi, Nikki Valens. You're watching this. Hi. Anyway, sorry. I don't know if do you have any game that does that to you, or am I just like, going crazy?
It depends on my mood. So actually you can get me like that for things that aren't even on this list. Like
under falling skies.
No, well, I like that too. But with the right people, I will go wild for Time's Up. Because it's so dumb and it's exactly what you should be doing with your friends. No, it's never an individual game. It's like I get like that when I'm playing. Okay. Thinking about games in the abstracts, I don't know yet. But
getting excited about games, yeah. But
when I'm playing with someone, oh God, I get so into it. Like I went to my first in-person game night because everybody finally got vaccinated a couple weeks ago, and I didn't know how bad I needed it. It was I really needed it.
Yeah. Yep. Me too.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. All right, Quirky Circuits, my number 22. Number 21, we're going to end this video on a bang, hopefully.
Yeah, so my 21 is it's Roll and Write. It is one I always pull out when I am trying to convince other people that they also like roll and writes, and it's Cartographers. I actually really love Cartographers. It is fun. I'm really looking forward to the expansions and stuff that are coming out, and I backed those. I'm anxiously awaiting because I'm ready to freshen up my game. But Cartographers is like Tetris plus roll and write. Plus, if you're playing multiplayer, messing with other people by putting the ambushes in the worst possible spot and just like You know, I have a friend who finds really awful places to put them, and instead of drawing a monster, he just draws like a horrible little happy face that somehow makes it worse. Like, hey, I hate you. But yeah, it's just solid. I really like it. Every time I play it, it's a good time. I play it by myself. I play it with other people, and it is just one of those ones that always goes in my game bag. I rarely go to game night without it in the game bag because I'm just kind of hoping we'll get to play it.
Right. Nice. All right. Yeah, I approve. Is actually in my game. That is in my Games for a Healthy Mind series. I play it with folks who have like are on the spectrum. It is a very kind of like orderly, safe world, right? You're like
Ooh,
making that
interesting.
orderly, safe world, and that's what you want for people who are on the spectrum. You want to give them that sense of safety so that they can kind of like feel they can be more themselves. And you know, even the monsters, like the monsters are quote unquote scary, but then they land and they don't do anything.
Yeah.
You know, they're there, but they evoke the sense of monsters, and you know, it's I love it. No, cartographers did not make this main list, but it is, you know, the review is there. I really it does a lot. The game. Okay, I'm gonna end this off with making up for Liz's failure at being good at games. She totally forgot to put this game on there. It is a complete and utter joke that Liz has totally forgot this game, and some of the, you know, whatever was happening on that list is there. But I will make up for it, people. Race for the Galaxy. Race for the
It is so
Galaxy
good.
is so good. You know, classic game. It's been out for a while now. You know, every hand of cards. It's a card, you know, all cards, right? And combos, and tactical play, and building up an engine over like 15 minutes. It's a race. It's literally a race. You know, you're building your tableau, and you can build such that, you know, you can build a lot of planets and score off your planets. You can build such that you're trading a lot of goods. So, you know, there's certain cards like you can turk them down, so like you can just trade a lot, and like I get 30 points from trading, even though you only have 5 planets out. How'd you do that? Look at that. Da-da-da-da. You can build off of your big development cards, and, you know, just score a lot off of that. I've played this game hundreds of times, not just on the app either. So like, it's one of those games where I played it a ton in the physical game, and then I migrated to the apps. Like, you know, it's just easier, you know, to do that. But oh man, Race for the Galaxy. Roll is high. Roll is in my 60s, around
Yeah,
there.
it's good.
Roll is good. Race, I'm just a card player. I love
Yeah,
cards. You
I would
know,
agree.
you know, and San Juan is also high. I like San Juan, but it's just something about Race, the expansions that they're there for it. There's some really good expansions there.
Yeah.
I liked the Xeno Invasion expansion, which I think was the latest one. You know, just so much. Like, no, Race for the Galaxies, it's somewhere.
Yeah, the only
lose track of
actual
where my stuff is.
complaint I have about Race for the Galaxy is that learning it the first time is hard, and getting other people to learn it is hard.
Yeah.
But then once everybody knows how to play, it's so good.
I don't
It's
care about
so
people's
good.
feelings. It took me a long time too, but once I learned it, it was great.
Yeah, exactly. It's worth it. It's worth the
Super
price of admission. It's really good.
All right, so I've made up for Liz's failure for Race for the Galaxy. That is my number
Fair enough.
21. So I get to lord that over you for a long time. But we are done with this this video, our third. We have 2 more to go in the summer spectacular for the Dice Tower. So this is Jason from Shelf Stories,
And I'm Liz Davidson from Beyond Solitaire.
and we are going to remind you to Semper Ludimus, which is
We always play, and of course, so should you.